Okay, one take. Let's just fucking do it. All right. This is my low life Elementalist Righteous Fire build, right? And this is all the gear for it, right? The first hurdle in most builds is satisfying your attributes. So we're going to do that almost purely through this ring, which I crafted by slamming dot essence over and over. So delirium essence until I hit T1 strength, and an open suffix and all is needed. Lock the suffixes with suffixes can't be changed, and then do an aisling, hoping that the aisling adds a veiled suffix. And then hoping again after the fact to unveil Dex and Intelligence. So then you just divine it all, hit it with attribute modifiers. You lock suffixes, scour, craft mana, slam until T1 ES, and then at the time, Hinokora locks were 40 divine, and I used a couple of them to hit with the Warlord Exalt the 15% area of effect, right? And inside of it, we're going to put Discipline later. All right. Second, Mage Blood. All right, this build's all about stacking as much area of effect, right? So I went for area of effect, double corrupt, good dex roll, but since I am melding, I wanted the implicit for all res to make things a little bit easier. And that satisfies most of the requirements for the build. I actually used a Warrior's Tail here with area of effect and reservation over here, and that gave me a little bit more attributes. All right. Next is the flasks. On this build version of Righteous Fire, I used a coruscating elixir. Alright, silver flask for onslaught, quicksilver flask for move speed, ruby because I'm Righteous Fire, and a granite because it gives me the most armor. All increased effect for prefixes, but I went for reduced mana cost because I'm not life tapping Fire Trap. I am low life. I don't have enough life pool or life regen anyway to life tap. So I need reduced mana cost to bring that mana cost down as much as possible. Avoid shock to combo with Storm Shroud is how I'm getting ailment defense on this one. All res because I am melding with this setup, and then just generic armor because I'm an Aegis build I want. I would have gone 2 armor flasks if I could, but the onslaught flask is just too good quality of life to go for that. Jewels, all right. There's 2 1 passive voices in this build. All right, pathing straight up top. 1 passive voices. Another over here, 1 passive voices. And then in them, we're putting assert dominance and towering threat with 2 good attribute rolls, right, on all of these. All right, and then I went and synthesized them to try and get energy shield. I never finished doing these 2 because the patch notes came out, and I was like, oh great, my build's bricked. The rest of the jewels in there. Storm Shroud, Corrupted Blood, Area of Effect. I'm just taking Area of Effect everywhere I can, and I need Corrupted Blood on 1. Cheapest one was Storm Shroud. Alright, next, Megalomaniac. Going a little bit weird with it, right? Wall of Muscle is what I was doing to meet my strength requirement. Brush with Death is how I am offsetting Coruscating Elixir. I don't have the sheer amount of regen I would need to take Eternal Youth to regen my life, so what I'm using is a coruscating elixir with use when charges reach full, and since you have to kill things to gain flask, I don't have any passive flash charge gain, right? I kill something, it sets the flask off, I recoup, it doesn't turn my RF off. The exception to this is monsters that are in some sort of like in Legion, when they're in the stasis. If you kill them then, you'll gain flash charges, but it won't count as a kill. They're still alive, right? So I don't regain the ES. So this stops being a Legion blaster at the moment I swap to this. All right, and then the last affix, just more area of effect Manticore. I would have gone assert dominance if I could find it, but I was lucky to even find these 2 together in the first place. All right, lastly for the jewels. All right, triple synth. Oh, I know that's the wrong one. There we are. Triple synth. All right, ES, int, and AOE. When I saw this jewel for 20 divine, I was like, well, it don't get much better than that, especially since I have mainly int attributes all over the tree, right, being a witch, so I could tattoo everything. So I went and crafted it for the best DPS suffixes, and well, I was actually going for max ES instead of increased fire damage, but I actually hit all these mods with a single scorched fossil after going for it for, dude, I don't even remember how often. I spent probably 400 divines crafting, and I was losing my mind. I was doing like imprint regal shenanigans. I was doing reforge more likely shenanigans. I was losing my mind doing it. And then married it 3 times. Alright, gloves. Our best implicits for this build are always going to be fire exposure. Fire exposure with increased resistance penalty to enemies is essentially how this build is getting pen since it's dot. And then since I'm always igniting, ignites the inflict spread is pretty good. Alright, prefixes were not just as much ES and +2 AoE for my R's in there. I eventually ended up dropping it at one point because I needed +1 to the Enlightened to meet my requirements, so I had to do something funky with my boots. Suffixes Chaos Res and Double Res because I'm melting. Next was Legacy of Fury. Legacy of Fury, it gives you Scorch. That's the most important mod on it for any Righteous Fire build, is increased effective Scorch. Right, we went for +2, +1 socket and +1 R or AoE, and then I was sorting by Scorch, and once I saw the 51 pop, I was like, I need that. So down here, you can use an Unnatural Instinct right here to get these 3 AoE nodes. On the other one was my Militant Faith. The 2 mods on this were Elemental Damage with Devotion and increased effect of non-curse Rs. Since I'm melding with Purity of Ice, I just need as much R effect as possible to try and hit 90 res. Alright, then going up, I have my Melding over here with AoE, -4 max res, and then over here, Thread of Hope. Thread of Hope, normally you would use it to reach Glancing Blows, but instead I can go one bigger to grab AoE here, and then cap out my block chance over here. Also gives me some all res, which is really nice. And then I tattooed CI into Glancing Blows to save the passive points. This way I can min-max AoE a bit more. The weapon, crafted the Mirror RF Scepter this league. There was one other dude who hit T2.multi and settled, but he hit the enchant for increased effect of elemental or fire modifiers. So we basically ended up having the same DPS scepter, but mine you could enchant with Area of Effect and it would still be the same DPS. Inside of it, we're going to put Blasphemy, my Frostblink, and my Elemental Weakness. Aegis, Fist taking his fire and chance to block spell damage are the 2 best implicits. If you can get double block or whatever you need, but these would be the 2 best in slot prefixes. Inside is our shield charge setup. Shield charge, faster attacks, and then my defensive left click, Molten Shell. Next is the other ring. This was a fun one to craft. Not really. The way to craft this is you have I searched the trade site for the first 2 prefixes together. The Subterranean Life Res Efficiency, which is a Delve drop only mod, and T1ES. And I would bought every single base I possibly could that was Topaz. There were 8 bases that I got. The method to craft this was prefixes first. Get the base with an open prefix, craft a prefix, slam twice, craft cannot roll attacks on the suffixes, so the suffixes are full, and then Warlord Exalt Slam. If it failed, try and resell the base. It's a complete break. Discipline in the ring. Alright. Amulet. I went through another amulet in this build. Okay, it's up here, yeah. +2 AoE, or sorry, +2 fire, Area of Effect, dot multi, and then reforge over and over again for chaos res. If it fills, try and sell it off, or try and risk that annul. And then lastly, to get the Area of Effect implicit, I talismaned. I hit it on the first one, so I just gave away the other amulet to somebody in global. Made their day. But what I was going for before they announced the Affliction announcement was a synth one. I bought this base off of Zboob. So I saw that he had it on trade. He had it crafted for his I believe it was Stormbrand. I saw that he had it. I messaged him if he was available to trade for it, and he responded immediately, and I grabbed it. All right, method to craft this, pretty simple craft. All AUG spam for +1 all. Imprint it since it's synthesized. Regal it, and then hope it's just a suffix. If not, try an annul. With that one suffix, dead mod, craft 3 crafted mods, can't roll, prefixes can't be changed, and fire damage to attacks. And then you harvest Aug Fire. It guarantees fire, and it can't remove a prefix, so it just removes a random suffix, whatever. And then you go prefixes can't be changed again, and then you Aisling, hoping to hit a veiled prefix, unveil area of effect, and then to get the suffixes is craft hybrid attribute on this base. Since it's citrine, it was dex and strength, I believe. The one that's more common to the base or whatever is the better one to block. Slam twice and then hope you hit dot multi. I hit T2 dot multi. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm burning a lot of currency on this. I'll settle. And then I just went for the YOLO Aug, block prefixes, Aug Chaos, and I hit T1 Chaos on the first try. I was like, all right, cool, this is meant to be. I was going to finish it, but the patch notes for Affliction dropped, and this build is entirely dead, so... Well, it's dead when the patch drops, for next league. Yeah, and then allocating Whispers of Doom for my second curse. I'm using 2 curses on this build. LE Weakness from Blasphemy setup, and then Flammability on hit. The chess piece, I have a video of this if you want to see more on my channel. This was a very fun craft that it goes over it, but the gem setup for this is not your normal 5. It's a mana cost setup. So instead of life tap, and you're going to run controlled destruction. So you go Fire Trap, Swift Affliction, Trap and Mind damage, Burning damage, Empower, and then Awaken Control Destruction instead of life tap. It's the next best one. You can go Divergent Inspiration, but Divergent Inspiration is getting removed. We'll have to see if they add anything. There's no Awakened Inspiration. There's not getting we're not getting transmogs for support gems from what they said. So that's a little bit unfortunate there. And then yeah, that's basically it for that. The helmet it's a fun craft. It was not, well, it wasn't a fun craft. You have to do prefixes first. You hit it with the gilded, roll the implicits, and then since Searing Exarch is well, you get the base first. You get the base first, right? Fractured, more alley. I got this base for 2 divine. We're not doing influence because crafting that is way more expensive, and you can't get Eldritch implicits. Yeah, it was fossils to get it. If I remember the combo correctly, I have it over here. Corrupt Essence mod. So, dude, I don't remember. My brain's cooked from this league. Whatever. All right, you get the idea. Anomalous Righteous Fire because we want as much area of effect as possible. Awakened area of effect because we want as much area of effect as possible. Awakened LE Focus for more gem levels to Righteous Fire. And then Awakened Empower for as much gem levels. 548 area of effect. Right, if I pull up POB. Oh, I didn't talk about the tree. Some of the decisions I made on this tree were fun. Alright, so Ascendancy. Straight to Heart of Destruction. Area of effect. Too easy of a decision. The note along the way. Exposure applies an extra -25. Awesome. Even more pen for me. Alright, Shaper of Flames hits always ignite, and then Bastion of Elements. You can go down here for Shaper of Storms instead if you want to shock on hit, because we are not running in our R setup here. Summon Skitterbots. Well, I don't see why you would do this. The build has been effectively killed. But yeah, this is the logic behind it. Logic behind it was Bastion of Elements gives me more tank. This would give me more DPS because it would give me a source of shock other than if I were to path here or if I were to path here for Ash, Frost, and Storm, right? Pathing on the tree, pathing straight over here for area of effect, right? My Watcher's Eye. Oh, I didn't talk about the Watcher's Eye. Watcher's Eye is, I have a video on this one too. Double recovery and then dot multi. I didn't divine it because I didn't think the first lock was gonna hit, but the first Hinekora lock on the Vol Orb. It hit AoE, and I just full underbite, as Suda said, and took it. Over here, we're taking for increased effect of our curses, and since everything over here is doubled, the other nodes we're taking are going to be global defenses on all the int nodes as possible to stack more ES, a little bit more movement speed. I could go global defenses here, I believe, but I don't know. Figured, fuck it, why not? Use a dex tattoo. Over here for explode chance, right? And then on all these other strength nodes down here, these two, I'm also going explode. And it combos pretty nicely. It gives me almost 50% explode in total. We're pathing over here for more elemental resistances, an energy shield, divine judgment, just 50% increased elemental damage. It's a no-brainer. Aura effect, +1 max res, and 20% life reservation efficiency were our masteries for reservation. I think, if I remember correctly, those are the only masteries I'm taking on this build. Right, pathing to leadership, pathing to arcane expanse, pathing to blast radius, pathing all the way up here to influence. Instead of using the CI supreme ego, or sorry, supreme impossible escape, right? Because the jewel and contend would have been this, and I would have had to change my amulet up, and this was more point efficient for min-maxing area of effect. And on the character sheet, this comes out to about being 87 all res, and I would have put on merge to standard, I would have swapped my melding out for the melding with area of effect and legacy no change to all elemental resistances. And that would have saved me a passive point, and I would have probably spent the passive point over in, where is it? 40% of physical damage converted to fire damage, or burning damage. Enemies have a chance to explode. I take Zealot's Oath on this, right? Because that way all my regen applies to energy shield, since I'm primarily energy shield, but I'm low life, so my method for recovery, once again, coruscating elixir and brush with death. It's jank. I have to press the RF button if I kill a huge mob of enemies, and it activates multiple times. But this is the only way that I could think of to go for the build, to literally function. All right. Alternative gearing sets that you can do. I have a lot of duplicate gear, and I have one actually for sale that I'm going to pull right now. Two. Talk about this real quick. Alright. There is a lot of Megalomaniac combos that I went through making this build. At one point I was stacking like Winter Prowler over here, and during, like, this one's insane. Whatever. Alright, so we'll just talk about alternative chess pieces. If you were to go life-based with this, you wouldn't stack ES, you wouldn't go melding, because you would run out of ways to reserve, right? You would probably wouldn't be able to go Herald of Ash. And you wouldn't go block base with Tempest Shield. So you would drop all of those, you go double corrupted Carcass Jack, and then you would then stack life and area of effect. And then your notables on your clusters, instead of having Towering Threat, would have been the, I forget the name of it, but it gives you like 15% increased area of effect while wielding a two-handed weapon, and you would have gone for Staff. Right, with a +5 double dot staff. But that would be life version. On this version, your best setup for single target is a double corrupt Chevron's wrappings. With this setup, you get to use an Arias and as your source of explode, since you're losing explode on the chest, right? And this would drastically boost your single target DPS. Alternatively, if you didn't want to go explode and you just wanted to stack as much energy shield as possible, you can see here I only have 100 energy shield on the chest. You can go for a Vol Regalia, right? Fractured area of effect is absolutely hilarious. Spam with damn, I don't remember the name of the essence mod. It's a corrupt essence, and it gives you onslaught on hit when hit, and then you would drop this for a second armor flask, right? And that would be your source. So you have a source of onslaught finally. Life regen, double ES, right? And then Malevolence, non-curse aura. This would be like your Giga. I'm not exploding everything. I'm going to rely on Legacy of Fury to clear it for me, right? The alternative for the helmet is the exact same thing as my current helmet. The only difference is one suffix, right? So for this setup, instead of going for +1 strength or int gems, you go for int, just flat int, right? And you get that by essence spam with I believe Hysteria or Delirium until you get int, and then prefixes are just Eldritch Chaos into a Nazeling. Same method for implicit, same enchant. We don't want as much area of effect as possible. The boots. I was messing around making some other boots. The only thing that I could find that realistically was usable for this build was a double corrupt set of Annihilation Approach. And the reason you would do this is for Adrenaline. I think if you were to go life-based and somehow stack just fire resistance to 90, you could then use this. I can use this on my current build, but the issue with these boots is the affix that says take 10,000 fire damage per second while flame touched. With 90 all res, that comes down to about 1,000 damage per second, which goes against your regen, and it's difficult to run. If you then can no longer run you can't run a single reduced recovery map. With this build, I actually can, and it's literally this one node in the game. Oh, one more thing about Brush with Death. I fucking love this interaction between it and Coruscating Laser. At one point during this build, I had to de-level my Vitality gem because I didn't have enough life to support it on Arrogance. And what I found was, even if you have like 10 life, if you recover 1% life on kill, it's going to round up to the nearest number. So you're recovering 1. So you kill 1 enemy, you get 1 life. Kill 10 enemies, that's your whole health bar. The major downside of this class is always going to be the same thing. If it's not up, you insta-die to chaos. Just like, if I pull the POB, right? And you disable Coruscating Elixir, the chaos max hit is 721. So yeah, it's a little bit it's a little bit sketchy. But yeah, it's end of league. So I'm gonna do, since I've already made this one with a Crucible tree in standard, I'm just gonna double corrupt this. So I'm gonna hop and call and stream to them. You've been talking about
like
armor stackers since I've been gone.
I don't know. I guess so.
Man, I'm gonna miss this fucking build.
I'm gonna miss this build. And
oh, I forgot.
It's not even fixed yet. Like, I need to stop thinking about builds and like just run some labs and just wait for the information. Because like,
all right, Matt's here. All right, boys, it's dead in standard. It's time.
No, wait, what?
It's time. What? The league ends in an hour. Like the league ends in a couple of hours, and then I have a better one in standard, and it has a Crucible tree.
35 hours or something.
What?
You still have to make it through the whole day.
What do you mean? I'm gonna go. Am I crazy? I thought it's like less than 24 hours. League ends in 1 day, 9 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on! I got implicits, but it's the wrong ones.
What the fuck is that?
What did you want to get?
Dude, what is that?
I shield charge faster, let's go!
My D&D?
I can't believe I actually hit this.
Oh, that was global.
I know, it's worse. Whatever. It was a fun league.
Interesting.